Welcome to part two of my spring color Japanese maple carnet garden tour. This one is Bart's Dwarf. This is my first year with it in the spring, but it's a really small red upright. Should be a dwarf. This one is Benny Mashuri. I'll show you the tag. This one is amazing. Usually when it leaves out a red and then it fades to like a yellow, so the color contrast as the leaves go from that red to yellow is always really neat, and it actually holds the yellow for me pretty good throughout the year, better sometimes than Jordan and summer gold. Over here I have my English lace starting to leaf out. Over here, I'm sure Same. I love the color on these leaves. I got a little bit of dieback this year. We had some cold January, but just the leaf color. In the leaf shape, this is definitely a really pretty tree. I know Elizabeth Mundy said it was one of her favorite trees, and I actually got this one from her. Or light wave is another name for it. This is one that's spectacular all year round. And back here, this is my Sunny. This one's really neat when it will eventually open. Orange leaves, and it kind of fades to like the summer gold or Jordan color. This is one of my, I need to take the cage off of it now, but I have some of the cages on these ones that are a little bit closer to the wood line so the deer don't eat them. But Aka Dorsa, I think is how you pronounce that one. Let's see if I can zoom in on the tag for you guys. Sorry, some of my Japanese pronunciation isn't the best, but hopefully you can see the name there. This is a strap leaf, red strap leaf. This one is really neat, holds that red pretty well throughout the year. Some of my camellias are starting to bloom. You can see some of my rhododendrons should be blooming soon. This is my Sunset, still budded up, hasn't leafed out yet, which is good because we're supposed to be getting really, I think we're supposed to be dropping close to 34 or 32 next Tuesday after a whole bunch of days in the 80s. So a lot of these are going to be at the cover. This one here is my Moonrise. I'm just starting to bud up a little bit, or sorry, break their buds out, so won't be too long. Gotta avoid my peonies that I planted. Here's my which one? This is, why am I blanking on the name? Bronze Age. And so I took Mr. Matt from Mr. Maple's advice and planted my Bronze Age next to my right there is, it's hard to tell, is my Moonrise. So the color contrast between the two of them is pretty striking. Here is my Hanamatoi, and you can kind of see, if it'll focus on the leaves, that pink variegation starting to show up in the leaves. And I heard this one can be a little bit finicky. This is my second or third year with it. So far so good. Have it in I think a decent spot that it holds that more pink color, so it gets a little bit of sun. Back here, my Firefly is starting to leaf out, and all that beautiful color that comes with the Firefly. The reticulation on it. This is definitely a really pretty tree year round. All like every day, the color is definitely different on it. So the things that you hear about it are definitely true. Fireflies definitely are really, if you can find one, definitely I would get it. And this is my pink filigree. It's starting to bud out. Not too much on it yet. Not too much really to see. Kind of down my driveway. This is my gold digger. You can see some of that pretty bark and then the leaves contrasting against that coral pink yellowish bark. This one's definitely this is my first spring with it, so cool to see it leaf out. And behind me, this is my lion's heart. Leaves are just starting to uncurl. We had a frost the other, hopefully I can get the focus of frost, or yeah, I think we got to like 37 for a short bit, so hopefully it does okay. I think they're just kind of opening right now. And this one, I always forget how to pronounce it. Let me see if I can zoom in. But it kind of leaves out this green, and as you can see the sun hitting the leaves, it fades to that really nice brick red. So hopefully in the next couple days it'll be a lot more of the brick red for what it's known for. This is one of my favorite spring color trees. This here is Kristen Star. It got a lot of really beautiful colors on it. That yellow with the orange tips. And right now, with it being young, it definitely has some red bark, which is pretty neat. I wasn't really expecting that on it. Trying to train it in a unique way since I have a couple longer whips. So just to kind of play with the shape, since it's right here next to the driveway, to kind of give it a unique shape. But yeah, this spring color on Kristen Star is definitely one of the best spring trees for good reason. And kind of back here, have an Ever Autumn, hasn't leafed out yet. Over here I have my Indian Summer, which hasn't leafed out yet either. Which is, most of my other Japonicums have leafed out, or at least started to bud, but that one's kind of always last. Here's my Emmett's Pumpkin, kind of the same thing. The leaves always kind of leaf out green, and then as the sun hits it, have it where it gets morning sun, definitely adds that blush over the top of them. Let's see, we'll kind of go to the other side of the driveway. Just gonna start up here. This one's always really neat. It's one of the Acer Pictum Hoshiodori. That variegation in the leaves, and throughout the summer it becomes like green and almost like a blue green versus this green and yellow. But yeah, this one is always, it's one of my favorite Pictums. I have just for, it's consistently variegated every year. Every leaf, as you can see, the variegation's different on it. Yeah, it's just a really neat tree. Over here I have my Ethel, and this one is kind of like a red version of Germain's Gyration. This is introduction that Elizabeth Mundy created, and you can kind of see, you know, the bronzing on the leaves, so it gets this red bronze, and then it fades to the green. like a traditional Germain's gyration, another green lace leaf, but it's just, I think it's just as vigorous. You can kind of see the new growth on it from last year. That's at least a foot. Here's another version or another branch. So it definitely gets out there. One of those, this one's really, I haven't seen it anywhere but from her. So hopefully she produces some more. I know she's retired, but it's definitely a really good tree. I gave this one a lot of space because I knew it was going to be a fast grower. So if you ever find an Ethel, I definitely recommend it. Over here's my Yamakage. You can see the leaves of the Japonicum starting to leaf out. Over here is my Orion. Starting to get some of that, the red, and the leaves shouldn't be too much longer. You can see, let's see if we can get the focus. There we go. Yeah, Orion, this is my first spring with it. I have another Shigari back there. This is my green mist starting to leaf out. Let's see, what do we have over here? This one's definitely, this is Acer Suboniatum Komonishiki, I think is how you pronounce it. Once again, some of the ones kind of along the edge of the my tree line have a couple herds of deer that live around me, so as they're kind of smaller, just to kind of help protect them in this early spring when they're kind of munching on everything, just to kind of help protect the trees. Have this chicken wire around it, but usually in the next couple weeks, once all the rest of the leaves and plants leaf out, they tend to leave my trees alone so I can take the cages off from around them, but better safe than sorry. Here's my Goshiki. Goshiki Kawahime. A little bit past its spring color. This one's always first for me to leaf out of all of them. You can see a little bit of that bronzing, but usually when it first leaves out, it's like a brick red, and then it kind of fades to this green. But I love, like Shishishikira, that layering that's on it. Let's see. Over here is the Eagle Claw, I believe is the common name. No, I'm not even gonna pronounce that one, but I think it's the common name is Eagle Claw, but you can kind of see the tag there if you're looking for it. It's a really neat green, great fall color. The leaves are, they really resemble the Eagle Claw, which is where it gets its name. This is another Macawa that I have. It's a little one. It's kind of been struggling, so it's been in a pot for a while, just trying to find a good spot for it. There's a little bit of dieback on it, and there was a big branch before I put the cage around it that the deer broke off on that side. So but yeah, you know, it's still kicking, and it'll be a really cool Macawa right here next to the driveway in a few years. You know, it takes a while to grow, but it's worth the wait. Oh yeah, here's got a little bit of reversion, but here's my Benny, not Benny, I'm blanking on how to pronounce this one, but the pink is kind of like butterfly, but it gets a lot more of this pink in the spring. A little bit of reversion I got to cut out when I'm done filming this, but yeah, that pink is just vibrant, and it holds it Benishisha Hinga. There we go. Yeah, the pink on this is amazing, and with it here kind of in a little bit more deep shade, it holds this pink really well into the summer months. So a Benishisha Hinga is definitely a really cool tree. Just got to prune out this branch right here. Let's see, over here I have my Ryusin. Trying to train this one up. You can kind of see the really chartreuse spring leaves on it. Yep, it's got a small 1 gallon. I'm just going to train it up to about 6 feet and let it weep down. We'll probably do some, give it some unique shapes. Let's see, this is my mango, or the dancing peacock. The why am I blanking on the name right now? Meku Jaku. Yep, there we go. It's just starting to leaf out. You can see the flowers on it. They're usually a little bright red, especially a little bit more in the day. We have my Atari, another Japonicum. Really divided leaves on that one. And here's always one of my earliest Japonicums to leaf out. Look how big these leaves already are. See if I can get the focus. But yeah, this one's always, it's avid in some nice shade. This is, that's how you pronounce it. I know that for a while that term was kind of the generic term, kind of like varieties or waterfall or blood good, but that was kind of the term that people were giving any kind of green Japonicum. But this one, Elizabeth Mundy, I got from her. She said she actually tracked down one of the original forms that J.D. Varieties talks about in his books and made sure it was actually the form. You got the beautiful flowers on it. So this one, like all Japonicum, has amazing fall colors on it. Over here, this is my Ramona. This one leaks out real, the secondary flush I haven't really seen as much as some people rave about, but it's always a good tree. Just haven't really seen that secondary flush that I was hoping for, that some people have talked about, but still a really pretty tree, even in the fall. Here's my straight species, Acer palmatum. Hoping in a few years to get some good seeds off of it, so that way I can do some grafting with it. Here's my was it the grapevine Japonicum? It starts with a V. Let's see. Oh, let me look at the tag. But yeah, look how that really dark green leaf with those red flowers. Just love how I have it kind of off on an angle. It kind of was growing in the pot in an angle, so I kind of planted it a little bit more just to kind of get it a cool shape. Kind of coming back to my woods. Over here we have a grandma ghost, and this one I think it had in a little bit too much sun, so it was struggling. But I think I finally found a really good spot for it. It seems to be doing really well now, but it took a couple years to kind of find that one. When it leaves out, the color on, or it's kind of like the white peaches It gets really cool, reticulated. It really lights up the area. And I actually found the real peaches and cream I got from Mr. Maple. So I got the correct form finally. It's just starting to leaf out. So this one, the spring color on it is awesome. Over here, I have, this one is a little bit harder to find. This one always has real consistent, nice sand dusting all over the leaves. Let me see if I, little tiny leaves, they get bigger than this, but they get like the sand dusting all over it every year, consistent. One of the best ones for it. It is Kodishi. Let me see if I can zoom in on. Like I said, I'm not the best at pronouncing these Japanese names, but there's the tag. But yeah, this it's a little bit small, slow growing, but that sand dusting on it is one of the best, consistent every year, like I was saying. And it holds it really well into the summer too. Here's my purple ghost. Just starting to leaf out. I love the color of the purple ghost. Yeah, a really bright red on it. I haven't had it really that lavender purple yet. Mine consistently is more like this color when it leaves out. This really bright red, but I have seen some that get that more lavender color. I'm sure mine's probably just in a little bit too much sun, so it doesn't get it. And I have it next to my amber ghost. Amber ghost definitely leaves out red and then kind of fades to that amber color where it gets its name. And it's definitely, I have it right here next to the path leading down into the garden space so I can enjoy it. And here's one, a Linerlovum. I think it's Geshi. Is how it's pronounced. It's one of the finest. It's hard to focus on because of how fine these leaves are, and it actually holds this red pretty well throughout the year. It greens up late summer, but it definitely holds the red longer than some of the other red Linerlovums, and it's so fine. It's definitely a really cool, unique texture in the garden. And the last one, kind of on the edge of the woodland garden. This is, I know, one of Brian Rule's favorite ones. Shigeri Bato, I think is how you pronounce it. It's an upright, but it kind of has that, it's just trying to leaf out green, lace leaf. It's definitely a really cool one. I kind of have it protected with a chair, as I have a hill kind of behind me that my kids like to ride their bikes and stuff down, so just trying to protect it. I have a couple more over here I'll show you guys so I can walk. The video is getting long, so it won't be too much longer. Some of these haven't leafed out yet, but I got my Tamukiyama that I'm kind of training into a cool shape. This one's always one of the last ones to leaf out. And then my Sengukaku, I always love when it first leaves out with that bright green leaves against that red bark. It is just striking, just as awesome as the bright yellow fall colors that this one gets. This is one of my favorite fall colors, that yellow leaves with the red bark is also really striking. And then over here, this one's kind of been struggling the last couple years, my Himi Sojo. Hopefully, I'm not sure. I gotta do a scratch test on it to see if it survived the winter. It's been struggling, but usually one of the best ones for holding its red all summer in deep shade, which is where it's kind of at. Unfortunately, I don't know if, oh, there's some buds that are on it. This is my flamethrower red bud, and actually is blooming for the first time. But I got found this luckily at a local garden center in this size for a decent price. It wasn't like a little small 1 gallon, so it hasn't grown too much, but this is definitely the first year that I've seen it grown or seen it flower. And you can kind of see some of the beginnings of the leaves. They come out bright red and then they fade to that orange and yellow and green where it gets its name. And I'll kind of walk around to all my maples that are kind of in pots. I have yet to plant out, or just waiting for them to get a little bit bigger before I plant them out. You can kind of see this bright red one here. Look at that. This is the hot sauce. This thing is, the color on it is awesome. It holds it pretty well, not as well as like Fire Glow or Himisojo, but it holds its red pretty well throughout the year. And the fall color on it's really neat too. This is my Acer Japonicum Ruby. Usually it's just starting, when it leaves out it's green, and then the leaves definitely turn more red. You can kind of see them blushing up right now. I forget what the actual name on it, but it's ruby is the common term for it. And then this is my Mayday, and look at that color on the Mayday. I love the spring color. And next to it is the lemon lime lace, just starting to leaf out. This is my first year with the lemon lime lace. I've seen one before where it has that yellow in it. It hasn't quite gotten it yet. So I'm not sure if it's like the secondary flush that gets it, or if I just need to put it in a little bit more sun. Here's some of my seedlings. And then I'm growing up the chicken wire over them to protect it from the squirrels digging them up. So hopefully those I can turn into some grafts in a couple years. This is my Angel de Prince, just starting to leaf out. And this one is Longwood, so another sometimes also dancing peacock, or a different dancing peacock. But Acer Japonicum Longwood. This is my Mystic. Didn't really have too much of the color this year. I'm not sure why, but usually it's a really bright orange. So it kind of leafed out this green. Looks like it's trying to blush up, but didn't really. This is another really small Mikujaku. And then here's Maymont. So living near Richmond, and near Maymont Park, I know where Elizabeth, which tree she got the scion wood from when the park allowed her, or I guess the estate allowed her. So it kind of leaves out green, and then it gets that really pretty red color on it. You can kind of see right there. But Maymont's a really pretty weeping, and then next to that is my Japanese Princess. And then back here are some grafts that are called Fred, which is weeping oregano nishiki type. And so I'm interested to see, looks like 3 of the 4 took. I got these also from Elizabeth. So I'm excited to see them and how they, with that variegation that the oregano nishiki gets, but on like a weeping tree. And then my Twomby's Red Signal. Twomby's Red Sentinel, there we go. With you can see that bright color, the witch's broom, the nub on the leaves. On this one, I have a couple of narrow spots where I want to put it. But this video is about 30 minutes long already. So I hope you guys enjoyed the second part of my spring garden tour, and I'll kind of leave with this Mayday. Once again, this color on this one is just fabulous right now. So I hope you guys have a good spring and are able to get into your gardens.